nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live on Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com on this beautiful Monday, April 28th. Good morning, Valdez.
I'm Valdez.
And good morning, Tucson. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. Great lineup of shows this week. Lots of guests stopping by for the podcast broadcast and tickets giveaway for Disturbed. It's your last opportunity to win those tickets for Disturbed. I did promise you when I gave them out before they went on sale that there'll be another time where I'll give them out again. And we are T-minus like a week away from the Disturbed show because it's happening on May 5th, I believe, or Singing a Mile. So all this week, we are going to be giving away tickets for Disturbed. Actually, it's May 15th. So you got a little bit of time, but still, your last chance opportunity to win those tickets going to be later on this morning. Plus, we have a lot of news to cover over the weekend. A lot of festivities happened this weekend. And Valdez had a genuinely good time. Right. And if you follow Valdez on Instagram, which I encourage you do, apparently every post he made before the post that he made on Sunday was a farce of a good time. But this one, when he posted multiple pictures from the Centurion event, which is a massive party, he said, "No, guys, this time I had a really good time." Let me say, your real quote was, which obviously I'm exaggerating because that's what I do, but he said, "I genuinely had an awesome time last night." That's good though. So yeah, you saw bare naked ladies at Centurions, and was this your first time at a Centurions party?
My second.
Okay, yeah. So what's cool about that is it's a party first, a fundraiser second, and a concert third. And so the way that this thing works is, they sell these tickets for like $100 or so, over $100.
Yeah.
But with those tickets, you get 5 drink tickets, which is basically unlimited drinks, to be honest with you.
Loosely based. Yeah, the bartenders are super cool.
Yeah. They don't really care that much. So 5 is your basis that you could start with. There's a lot of ticket trading, swapping, things like that. So it's all you can drink. Then they get food there. You get a food voucher, so you get free food. And then there's all these different things. You could buy hats and casino stuff. I ran the casino, pit bossing.
Oh my
saw
God,
a couple
that was
people.
so fun, man.
Yeah.
I love blackjack.
Yeah, so the casino's fun. My mom's company does it and has been doing it for years. And I've done the casino entertainment thing for a while. I always get irked though at certain people. I mean, I had a good time overall. But
You didn't have a genuinely good time?
No, I didn't have a genuinely good time because I was legitimately getting my steps in and working and make sure everyone was good. But, it's an event that there's a lot of it's amateur hour, right? There's a lot of people out there that are just wasted and obnoxious. And I got thick skin. I can roll with it. But sometimes, so I go up, my mom's on a blackjack table, Valdez, and I go to check on my mom. Right. And she was just filling in because a dealer just disappeared. And this happens. Yeah. This happens when you have a bunch of independent contractors and you do an event of this magnitude. Sometimes you'll just have someone just disappear and not say anything. And you're just like, I guess we'll go to this unmanned table. So my mom's at a blackjack table. There's a bunch of early 30-year-old dudes there. And so I go to check on my mom and I'm trying to talk to her. And the guy goes, "Hey, Turtle. Did anyone tell you look like Turtle from Entourage?"
Oh God.
Right? And I'm like, not since 2002, broseph. Right? But he's just like, "Oh man, you look like Turtle." And I mouthed to him. No joke. I was like, "I hate you. I will murder you right now. I'm trying to work. I'm not in the mood for you to make 20-year-old comparisons to a dude who never got laid on a show."
You're like looking around. You're like, where's my brown Suge Knight?
Yeah, exactly. It was before you showed up. So, and I'm there. Of course, I'm representing my mom's company in the Centurion, so I'm not trying to murder anybody, but,
Yet.
yeah, don't come at me like that. Not when I'm in work mode, not when I'm in play mode. Don't give me comparisons of people who are unbangable. You know what I mean? It's not appreciated in any scenario, and so I was like, yeah, here, let me give you a little break, Mom. You go back to where you're going. I'll handle these guys. Went in like 5 blackjacks in a row on my end. Be like, sorry, you lost all your money. Turtle this, bitch. I don't care what charity. Go donate some money. Anyways, that was my feeling. I genuinely was annoyed. And you genuinely had a good time. So different experiences, same event. That's how interesting that was. Also on Friday, of course, Seven Dust rocked the Pima County Fair. Tons of people showed up for that. Thank you for that. You were out there too, right?
No, I was at a Spanish event.
Oh, okay. And then Hip Hop Taco Fest, the TI Taco Fest went down Rito Raceway Park. I was actually invited to both. I could only do the Centurions, but from what I saw, from that, it was pretty massive. It's good to see huge festivals happening at Rito Raceway. It's something that Raceway Park and that property needs because there's no racing here anymore. Yeah. There was everyone from Bubba Sparks to TI to Lil Jon.
It was a loaded lineup. Like I wanted to go so bad. My inner high schooler was like, we gotta go.
Yeah, no, it was hip hop from 2003, all up in your face. So yeah, it was very nostalgia. Like when I was DJing, it was literally all the artists that I was spinning was on that bill. When I was a club DJ during that time.
I kind of hate nights like that because Centurions was super awesome and I love Taco Fest, but they're at the same night.
Yes, it's the old saying, when it rains, it pours. We can go, months without a cool big event. And then, of course, they all land on the same night. But either way, I hope you went out and enjoyed your weekend, enjoyed that windy weekend, and you have your eyes forward to another great weekend ahead. So, like I said, we're giving away those Disturbed tickets at 8:00 this morning, and so much fun stuff to get to. So let's kick off the show with a little Lenny Kravitz. Got Jelly Roll right after that, and then we'll be back with your Morning Moron. Phone lines are open if you want to give us a shout. 600 KFMA. Here's Are You Gonna Go My Way on Rock 2.1 KFMA, but you know the name of the show. Let's go. All right, we are back here live on the podcast broadcast. Please welcome our guest joining us from undisclosed location somewhere in the East Valley. The one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, the shaman of the Sonoran Desert, Mr. Roger Clyne.
Hey, Beef, long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man. It's good to see you. You're looking fantastic. I'm glad that you made it home in one piece because I saw that your van and trailer broke down on the way to the Utah gig. What happened there?
I don't know. Just new van, new trailer. It's just rock and roll. That stuff happened. The oil line or something, and of course, it had to happen like on a Saturday morning. They haven't been able to look at it, but our poor crew is stuck in Laramie. And they haven't even lifted the hood on the thing yet, but it's just rock and roll. You just carry on.
Are they still stuck out there waiting?
Yeah.
I love it that you're in a position though where you're like, oh man, that sucks, and you guys are gonna have to post up here for a while. We're gonna fly into the gig, buy some new instruments, and then the show went on, right?
All right, dudes. Yeah, I guess we won't sell merch. We're gonna go to Guitar Center, buy some cheap. It's a lot harder. It's a scramble, but you got to get through. And it feels like you grow from the trial a little bit. Like wow, we're just not going to sleep much and make a few extra stops to pick up the gear. But yeah, we got it through. 2-3 sold out shows. Great crowds. Got to play with Ike Riley. Met him for the first time though. I've been a fan for like a dozen years. So it was
nice.
Thanks to Denver, thanks to Salt Lake City, thanks to Vegas, thanks to Peacemakers for making that really fun.
Yeah, I love just honestly, the brand just is huge all over the Southwest. Rock 2.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. We're joined live on the podcast broadcast by Roger Clyne and the Peacemakers and the Refreshments. There's a lot of things I want to talk to Roger about, but coming up next, I think most importantly, I know like a lot of people plan each and every year, present company included, to make their way down to Rocky Point for Circus Mexicus. It's the annual huge festival that Roger puts on each and every year, but there have possibly been some changes at the border, maybe not. Roger is an expert of all these things because I know that you're bouncing back and forth to Rocky Point all the time. So we're going to give like a heads up of what to expect at the border, how you can make it down to Rocky Point safely, make it back safely, and more importantly, what to expect for this year's Circus Mexicus. All that is coming up next after new music from Wage War. But you can join us live on the podcast broadcast right now, youtube.com/beefvegan. All right. Oh, by the way, real quick, Roger, because we bounce it back and forth from on air and off, and I'm going to record some segments for KWSS as well.
It'd be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, our neighborhood is getting serviced, it's Wi-Fi. So this is all cellular, and just making sure you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you for the most part. There's little cutouts and stuff, but we just kind of roll with the punches here and then technology. But overall, I could hear you well. This is my buddy Valdez, by the way.
I'm Valdez.
Yeah. So, and I think that's kind of like the important part. We want to talk about the lineup, but obviously, I mean, I've been seeing posts from you guys as well, doing a really good job of addressing people's concerns.
Yeah, Greg, are we on right now? People get to listen to this part too?
Well, no, I mean, just on the stream, I'll clip it up, but yeah.
I was just down there a couple weeks back, and I held a singer-songwriter summit. Chuck Prophet was there, Miles Nielsen, Kelly Stewart, Jim Dalton, Andrew Leahy, all these great singer-songwriters. Mm-hmm. And the border certainly affected negatively the ticket sales. And so I went down to check it out. And I swear the border on both sides was friendlier and more inclusive and accommodating than I've ever seen it. It was the opposite of a hassle. It was just piece of cake. Everybody seemed to be all smiles, like, hey, welcome back. Thanks for coming. Going both ways. So there was no issue.
Yeah, and that's what I want to stress too. And that doesn't surprise me whatsoever, especially a town like Rocky Point, as you know. They're just so, reliant on our tourism, to go down there. That's their entire economy for the most part, even though they have other things starting to build up from there. But it's such a part of it, like Arizona. They welcome Arizonans and people from the United States with open arms down there. So it would make sense the port entry for Mexico doesn't necessarily aren't affected by the global politics that maybe other places like flying into like Cabo would be, right?
It seemed delightfully immune. I was prepared for, just to be as generous and diplomatic as I could be. I didn't have a chance to even turn on the charm. Everybody just opened every door. It was awesome, and it was the same going the other way. CBP on our side was like, hey, welcome back. Did you have a good time? How was it down there? Hope to see you again. So it almost seemed like people were making an effort to not let the geopolitical kerfuffle mess us up as neighbors. And I was so relieved. It was really good.
Yeah, we're going to basically repeat some of that here on the air and let people know because, I think it's a point worth shouting from like the rooftops too, and so,
friends and family down there who are dependent on, turning dollar bills into pesos so that they can pay the bills. And it gets really stressful when the tourist stream starts to thin a little bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we've seen that a couple times. So we're back here live in Rock 102.1 KFMA, joined by Roger Clyne The Peacemakers, and Refreshments. And every year, annually in June, he has his annual Circus Mexicus festival that takes over Rocky Point. And if you love live music, like this is a one-of-a-kind experience. I love it so much. Something I look forward to each and every year. Roger and his friends come down. Not only they set up a massive stage behind Banditos, but they take over the entire town of Rocky Point. Every single venue, there's going to be live artists performing, and of course, food and beverages are flowing. But the main concern, I think, for many who just read the news and the headlines in the news is making it down to Mexico safely and what they have to do that may be different in making their attempt to go across the border, both there and back. And that's what we're talking to Roger about, because not only does he co-owner of Banditos down there, he just had a singer-songwriter summit. He does January Jam. You've been down to Rocky Point a handful of times already this year, right?
Down there for a singer-songwriter summit with Miles Nielsen, Kelly Stewart, Chuck Prophet, Andrew Leahy, Jim Dalton, myself. And those are my people. I'm like, I really want to make sure that this is okay and there's no hassle. And there's this shadow of a geopolitical kerfuffle. I went down there and it was like everybody had the doors open already. We didn't receive anything but a warm welcome and the same going back, i.e. like Mexican border or customs. They just let us right through. Hey, how are you doing? Is that your car? Yes, it is. Welcome back. And then on the way, the guys and gals on our side were like, hey, how was it down there? Was it fun? Did you have a good time? How's the attitude? Everybody seems to be almost working hard to not allow the geopolitical static to mess us up as neighbors. And it was really relief because that's our job as peacemakers, as ambassadors, as world citizens. And so come on down, smile big, tip big, have fun. Nothing, it was not a hassle. And on our website, I'm sure that you can find if there's anything that you need to do. I mean, you do need to bring a passport. We'll let you know. Just look up the info there.
Yeah, because you made it like one-stop shop on your website to kind of give people the information of the frequently asked questions. I have to ask this, though. Was part of the treatment that you were received because you were recognized and they're like, oh, it's Roger Clyne. We got to let the man through. It was...
No, it wasn't true. No, it wasn't that. I really... I'm wonderfully anonymous when I go through the border of both sides. I only get recognized usually coming back when somebody looks at my passport and like, you did that festival thing?
Yeah. You're the reason why I had to work so hard this weekend, you son of a bitch.
I don't get special treatment and I don't want it. I want to be a regular citizen. I want to just go down and do what everybody else has to do.
Yeah, nice. Well, this year's Circus Mexicus is now we're at 23rd annual. You already had your 20th anniversary. Is it 23?
6 years, dude. 26 years of this.
26. Wow. Oh yeah, because of 25th. Yeah. When you have that good of a time, you forget numbers.
26 times, and we used to do it biannually, so I don't know how many we've actually done, but it's 26 years this year.
Yeah, that's huge. Well, we want to talk about the lineup, what to expect this year, Circus Mexicus, which we will when we return on the flip side of these words and music from White Zombie. You could join our conversation right now as we're live on youtube.com/bevegan. Circus Mexicus happens this year from June 6th through the 9th, but June 5th through the 9th. Actually, it's like a big 4-day weekend that happens in Rocky Point, and there's tickets still available there. We're going to give you all that information and more when we return. So stick around and join us, youtube.com/bevegan. Clear. All right, let me see. RC Seg 1. Yes, sir.
The day is in that little house, in Phoenix. We used to go visit you there from time to time. You're just eloquent. You got this down. There's no stutter step at all. You sound great. You look great. Way to go.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. In fact, actually, Lisa was telling me that you were planning on stopping by the house, and I was like, man, I wish I still had that set up because
I've got a thumb that's rebelling against me because of overuse and my years. So I was going to be in the hood to have it looked at. I'm like, I'll just drop by. She's like, nah.
Yeah.
Well, good on them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, what happened was, so I'm still in Tucson and things are going well down there. And thank you for that, by the way. And then just this last 2 weeks, I was like, well, shit, since things are going so good down here, and my daughter moved out, she's 19 now, and I'm empty nesting. Then I was like,
love it.
I had that extra time. So I'm like, well, I could go back to KWSS and finish what I started there and still do this and try to bridge the two, right? Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. And there's going to be parts of our conversation that's going to be played on KWSS today, later on. And I think it just makes sense too, because what we want to talk about before I let you go to the doctor's appointment is not only Circus Mexicus, but, this summer you kind of going on the road and taking over these towns in Arizona, like Pine Top and Show Low,
Yeah, that's just because it's super fun to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It brings life into those communities. It's also like an awesome weekend getaway in the summertime for people in Arizona to go up to the Pines.
Digits here in Phoenix and Tucson too, and then just take it up into the Pines and drink a cold beer and get our ears ringing and enjoy a little bit of Arizona's its diversity, geodiversity. It's such an amazing state, and it's a great place to visit. The pines in the summertime.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, for me, you put the Lions Den in Pine Top on the map, and then they kind of built it out to make it this great music venue, especially when you come and perform.
He's done a great job, and of course his wife Diana too. Like, they are hardworking folks.
Yeah, well, they said, I mean, you still have your old tour bus like parked there, right?
It's parked out there, and Jay, they've set it up as a backstage, and I still get calls from friends. They're like, "Hey, I'm driving by. Are you here? Your bus is here." I'm like, no, we haven't turned the key on that for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, no, you could tell it's seen better days for sure, but it's a landmark up in that area. And so with the Lions Den, did you pretty much, were they just asking you what you wanted as far as a stage and a setup, what would be ideal? Because it seems like they built it for you.
Yes, in a sense. We kind of consulted Jay on it. He already had PH, and I did a little thing there. I don't know how many years ago, double digits, when his backyard wasn't built out, and it was successful. People came, and we started to do it every year. And then Jay said, invest in this backyard. I'm going to acquire it from my next door neighbor and build it out. And he asked our input on like what makes a good stage. And I said, well, you got to start with the point of view of the audience, really. Like the band, yes, important, and we'll talk about that in a second. But give everybody great line of sight, different spaces to congregate, easy access to refreshments at the bar. And then we'll go from there. And so it was just a conversation over beers, and he built it out great.
Yeah, in a way, it's almost like an amphitheater setting, just with the patio, with the beers. You have tables, right? It's tiered patio system, all staring towards an all-wood stage with a massive backyard vibe. So that's a difficult show to get into. So if you're planning on going to see Roger at Pine Top, then I think you have to move on that quickly. Did tickets go on sale for that already?
I'm not that involved in the clerical aspects. So I sort of plan from a distance and get the concepts out there. I think it probably is, but I'm not certain. If you go on our website, you can find out. I'm certain the dates are announced, but I'm not sure if the tickets are on sale yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think, if you're in the area, even if it's, you think it's sold out, it's still wise to just kind of get down there, because you never know what situation might kind of present itself and be a part of that party, because that's a fun party. But then on top of that, you announced you're going to be in Sholo. Here, I got a whole list of things. I'll keep you updated, because I'm sure they're booking you out. By the way, they just say, oh, by the way, you're going to be busy for a while this month.
Yeah. No sleep till August,
Yeah. Well, you got a big show that's happening on May 5th at the Rebel Lounge, celebrating their 10th anniversary there. You and PH are going to be doing that, right?
PH and I will be there making some noise together. The founders of this whole thing, RCPM and the Refreshments. So PH and I will be there banging it out and saying congratulations to our buddies at Rebel. Yeah, no, it's great. And of course, that was a legendary venue called the Mason Jar. Did the Refreshments have any fond memories of performing at the Mason Jar? There a few times. It was great. It was legend. You weren't a band until you played at the Mason Jar. So it was really cool Yeah, that's a fact. Like bands like Nirvana, I saw Static X for the first time at the Mason Jar. And when Steve bought that bar and renovated it, and rebranded as the Rebel Lounge, a lot of people are excited about it, and 10 years later it's still going strong. So congratulations to Psycho Steve for doing that. I'm just happy to see you a part of that lineup as well, because you got a lot of great legendary Arizona acts like Circus Mexicus alum Authority Zero perform on one of those dates as well. So it just makes sense that you and PH would be involved as well, as continuing to kind of carry the flag for Arizona music. It's we need it. Steve's not allowed to quit. So everybody. Yeah. I actually took him down to Mexicus one year. I have fond memories of bringing Psycho Steve to Circus Mexicus, his first Mexicus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, showing him the way. And he loved it. I think he fell in love several times over, which tends to happen in Mexicus as well. That's a very good thing. Yeah. All right. So let's get on the air and talk about that. Let's see. I'm going PC3. So I'm recording like 3 things at once, Roger. So you'd be impressed by this setup here. The guy was literally like looking at a watch, but I have to leave in about
10 minutes.
I got you in 5, my friend. So let's talk Circus Mexicus here. This year, the 26th annual Circus Mexicus is happening June 5th through June 9th, of course, in Rocky Point, all over Rocky Point. But the hub is Banditos. This year, going into this festival, who you excited that you brought on the bill this year, and what kind of tricks do you have up your sleeve?
Working on the tricks. I'm trying to do essentially a non-repeat couple of headlining shows. Like, it's hard, to do 4 hours of music and it's going to be 40 some songs, right? And to make sure that we're all versed and rehearsed and that I don't blow the lyrics. That's just sort of trying to go with, well, you're having fun all day long, and I got to pace myself to show up at the office and still be, upright enough to rock. Anyway, Reckless Kelly's going to be there. I'm super excited about that. And then some people a little further out there. Shelby Stone is a singer that I got to see in Oklahoma a little while back, and she's a singer-songwriter, total badass. She's going to do backing vocals with us and join us on.
Nice.
Pardon me. A good friend of mine, Dalton Domino, is coming, bringing his crew. I'm a big fan of the little band Golden Delicious. I think they're awesome. So even the underdogs are kick-ass. So don't miss a thing. That's the trick I have up my sleeve. It's all fun. It's all quality.
Yeah, and this year and in other years, I mean, you've learned to somewhat try to protect your vocals and not partake in too much fun before the shows.
Host soccer tournament in the morning and go from 8 o'clock, to 3 playing soccer and yelling. I don't do that anymore, and I try to keep my celebratory afternoon libations to a manageable level now, because I've certainly on stage going, oh my God, I've got to rock for 3 hours and I'm in this state. No, I just don't do it like that anymore. And
yeah.
It's the mantra, pace yourself. It's a long day and a long night.
Absolutely right. Yeah. And it's for the hardcore, but it can be done. Super manageable. You soak up the vitamin D. Of course, I have the delicious food and work your way to Circus Mexicus. So with that said, there's a special going on at Las Palomas, which is still available if you use the word circus. You get 20% off a bunch of different things.
Awesome.
So yeah, I actually just used that the other day and locked in my rates and stuff. So I look forward to seeing you down there. Circus Mexicus this year, 26th annual event, headlined by Roger Clyne The Peacemakers both nights, a no repeat weekend. For the most part, right? You got to have.
I didn't make that pledge. It's a goal.
Okay, yeah, because honestly, there's going to be, there's a song or two that us Peacemakers are like, I don't care if I heard it last night. Do it again.
Good. And I've experimented with that before. Like, hey, what happens if we're over here in North Carolina and we don't play Banditos? It's a bad thing. Like, you gotta play. There's some staples. There's Switchblade, Green Dumb, Mekong, Banditos, Mexico, etc. that we have to play. So they'll be, if you don't make the first show, those bookends will be there.
Oh, good. Yes. Well, yeah, and that's a good problem to have. They're just like, no, you have to play. So again, we recapped here. Roger Clyne The Peacemakers taking over Arizona this summer, kicking things off at Circus Mexicus in Rocky Point over the weekend. And if you have questions or concerns about making your way to Rocky Point, just know that you shouldn't, but you can get all the information at the Peacemakers website, which I think is circusmexicus.net or .com.
Yeah, circusmexicus.net. Can we fact check that? Yeah.
Yeah, good. So get the information there so that way you could plan your trip accordingly, and it will be a safe and fun time at Circus Mexicus. And if you're up in the Pine Top or Show Low region this summer, you'll be able to see Roger Clyne and the Peacemakers take over the favorite venues in those towns as well. Roger, always a pleasure catching up with you, my friend. Looking forward to hanging out with you at Circus Mexicus.
Got you, Beef. Great to see you again. Thank you.
Yes, mahalo. All right, well, we're going to continue the conversation on the podcast broadcast, and we'll be back after music from Nirvana on Rock 2.1. Awesome. I know you got that appointment set up, so I appreciate you taking the time. And,
it's great to reconnect. Thanks for, all the help getting the word out. And come and step on my flip-flop in Mexico. I'll look for you.
Oh, I will. And I thank the is for me too for helping set this up. But yeah, we'll talk again soon, and we'll continue to do our part to let people know that it's the party's going on, and it's going to be a fun, safe ride.
It's going to be you keep rocking.
Oh, Oh, real quick before you go, on a personal note, how was the highway? Did they fill in the potholes the last time you went there?
That was a wild ride there for a couple of months. Yes, they did fill in the potholes. It's not great. It's certainly better. You can, you don't want to run over every pothole. They made an effort. It's better. It's improved. And somebody stole it again. Come on, Peacemakers. I keep replacing it, and somebody keeps chopping it down.
Oh yeah, there's a mile marker that everyone stops at, and they stole that too, huh?
Wrote 13 on the pole now, and I usually leave a beer and a guitar pick or something like that.
Yeah, it's on me because I would have it hanging behind me right now in the studio with all my others.
I know, I didn't want to keep buying them. Like I get them custom made now because I feel bad that we've essentially vandalized that little spot in the country. So I keep trying to replace it, and every time I go back, somebody's taken like a sawzall to it and chopped off the bolts and taken the sign.
Well, I mean, that's a good sign too. I love it. All right. Well, you have a good day and enjoy your appointment and stuff, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Good to see you.
All right. Cheers. Roger Clyne, everybody. All right. So awesome catching up with the legend there and Circus Mexicus. I'm telling you, I can't vouch for it enough. It's seriously a blast of a party. My favorite party each and every year. And I always kind of fall in love with different musicians there. That's where I recognized Black Moods. Like I knew of the Black Moods. I heard the records and everything until I saw them perform at like JJ's and show me like the power of the power trio and how good they were live. Then I was all in, then they blew up right after that. So it makes sense. Rock 1 2.1. Who's this?
Yo, it's Nick.
What up?
Hey, so just dropped off my trailer on Friday for the Peacemakers concert because my Austin loves it.
Nice. That's awesome, dude. Yeah. So you're going to be at the show. What?
Yeah, we'll be out there for that concert.
Nice. Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. I don't know if it'll be that fun for Austin, and it's going to be a tough one, too, especially if you're trying to stay off the libations. You know what I'm saying? Because they'd be flowing. That's one of the things. Like, a lot of people have also compared Roger to, like, the Jimmy Buffett of the Sonoran Sea because he has those great drinking anthems.
I grew up on Jimmy Buffett when I was a kid, my man. So, trust me, it's just trying to give my kid the same lifestyle I live.
Nice. Well, yeah, it sounds like a good time, Nick. Good to hear from you, brother.
Later, buddy, and you guys have a great time. The stream's cutting in and out because I'm coming right through Florence right now. So,
all right, drive safe.
Later.
Yeah, and of course the stream was cutting out with Roger too. So what I realized was whenever we would make a sound, then it would kind of buffer. And I was like, shit, we can't talk. So take it away, Roger. So when we did, and I apologize for that, and it's going to be a little more editing on my part, but I just
stayed quiet.
Yeah, I know. But even when you laugh,
I had questions in my head, but
I would have brought you in, but just the fact that the way that the setup was for his iPad and the internet going out in his neighborhood before he got on was an issue, obviously. So whenever we made any sound in this, even when you laughed, he cut out a little bit, and it's not like I'm going to be like, God damn, why are you laughing? It's just something that we had to roll with. All right. But we made it work. And, I feel like we got some good information, which is good. And I'll reiterate that information when I pull up some more. And it's information, obviously, I want to know as well, because like I said, I'm going down there. I'm doing it up and I'm excited about it.
So does that mean no show Friday, Monday?
Oh yeah, no show for a week. That's my vacation.
So that's week.
In June.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be taking a couple days off at the end of June, and then just to be safe, I'm going to take that whole following week off because I'm going to be hungover for a couple days.
There you go.
Yeah. Legitimately. All right. Early this morning, we did our morning moron. In case you missed it, went a little something like this. Check it out. 2.1 KFMA. Welcome back to the show. It's now 6:15 and time for your morning moron. Let's do it. Yeah, let me. I know it's been years that marijuana has been decriminalized and legalized, so you don't have the old school weed dealers anymore. But here's one thing that is a lost art of weed dealers. Weed dealers were always kind of creative marketers, right? There's a creativity that's evolved and associated with marijuana dealers going way back when. I remember when I was a little pot dealer, right? I branded Quick Nicks, right? Which were like little nickel bags that I call Quick Nicks. So It didn't really catch on, but I was stoned enough to think, hey, I'll just brand, I'll just do some creative marketing and then be the best weed dealer in 3 states. See. So today's morning moron is reminiscent of old school me. An accused drug dealer in East Texas was facing charges after police say he filled at least 5 plastic Easter eggs with weed and hid them for customers to find. Right? He was the Weedster Bunny. Now, the guy's name is Avante, and cops found out about it after he posted photos of the eggs on Facebook. Right? Because that's what you do. Now, weed is not legal in Texas, mind you. You got to keep that in mind. That's the reason why there are weed dealers, but they're very anti-weed in that entire state. Pro-gun, anti-weed. But with, this scenario, you shouldn't be, even though it's decriminalized in half the country, if you're living in the half that isn't decriminalized, it's still not wise to advertise your illegal business on Facebook.
He's trying, man. He's trying.
Exactly. It's creative marketing. It's fun. It's branding. So all those reasons, I kind of tip my hat for his efforts. He's got a lot of potential if he doesn't, end up in jail the entire time for his stunts. Now, he did tell people that whoever stopped shopped with him, that he would give hints revealing where the eggs were hidden. So he's like, this is, again, it's clever marketing. I hid weed eggs. If you want to know where they are, just pick up an eighth from Avante, and I'll give you 3 clues like the Weedster Bunny should. Now, police found 4 of them. The fifth egg was found in a park by a man and his granddaughter the day after Easter.
Nice.
Yeah, now most of them were hidden in parks where kids would be hanging out, and that would come across an Easter egg and be stoked to find an Easter egg and see what's inside it. Now, cops found at least 1 egg behind a Motel 6. But that egg was unrelated and had an old condom inside it. But altogether, the eggs had just a 1/4 ounce of weed in them. And last we heard, cops were still trying to track Avante down. I actually have a picture of the Weedster egg right there in question. See that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not bad.
That's nice stuff.
Yeah, like gram and a half. I mean, it looks semi-good quality, but, still not dispensary level.
I mean, if a local business was smart, they would hire him as their
marketing director.
Yeah, marketing guy.
100%. And see, that's the thing. Like, weed dealers always have a natural gift and drive to be marketers. And so, it didn't make. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world that I sold weed as a young man, and I grew up to be in creative arts and entertainment as an adult. Branding and doing everything, all the tricks and tips that I learned from selling weed back in high school, I am now implementing on our Instagram page on a regular basis.
There it is, man.
So follow us at BeFegan, at Rock 102.1 KFMA, at I'm Valdez as well. All right, let's hit the reset. But yeah, hiding weed in your Easter eggs. That's not your ad, though. Okay. Real quick, I want to address a couple things. Yes, I will be going on vacation in June, and I will definitely give you a heads up on that, and I appreciate that. But the cool thing about this is I believe that depending on the Wi-Fi setup, not only will I do a broadcast on a Friday morning, but I will be recording a lot of different content and doing the afternoon show on KWSS while I'm down there, because with KWSS, I have the ability to record talk breaks into an iPhone that I have. And so, I thought this would be a good opportunity to go down and get a bunch of different drunk content and intermix with people. It's a good way for me also to, just go up to a group of strangers and make friends, right? I got an angle. I got it in. So what will happen is, and I haven't even approved it with management, but I haven't taken a real vacation in a while anyways. So, I plan on taking the Thursday and Friday off, in June. So I think, I'll basically do the first third of the week.
So when is this? June
5th through the 9th.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So I booked a room for, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, coming back Monday.
I got a little bit of anxiety when you said June. I was like, not during the Felipe thing.
Not during the Felipe thing. Yeah, no, it was the first weekend of June. Okay. I made sure it didn't kind of get in the way of any other plans. I believe so. And I didn't get to go to it last year. And the thing about this too, because I'm going with my my friend Corey and Courtney, like my girls, right, that I grew up with. But I'll tell you that story real quick. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. Hanging out here on the podcast broadcast with Valdez, and I was talking to the streamers about, going down to Circus Mexicus and me taking a couple days off, well-deserved days off, mind you, around that time, first weekend of June. And I missed Circus Mexicus last year for a couple reasons, but one of the main reasons was I didn't necessarily have anyone to go with except like my friends that I normally go with, like my old school friends from Phoenix, like Corey, who's my girlfriend, Courtney and Wendy and all those girls, right? I like to go down with them too because I'm rocking, with a bunch of my friends and also have hot girls in tow. So it's always a good time, right? When tequila shots are flowing and going over there. So I didn't want to roll down there solo. So I talked to Corey and I was like, hey, let's get a place for Mexicus, let's get this all set up. And she's like, I don't know if I could do it this year. I can't do it this year. I got other plans. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I let it go, right? She has other plans. I can't go down to Mexico this year. Don't necessarily have the funds to go solo or bring anybody else. So I'm just going to have to skip it. And then fast forward to the weekend of Circus Mexicus. And I look on Instagram and I see a bunch of pictures of my friend Corey and all my friends in Mexico at Circus Mexicus. And I'm like, bitch.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, what in the hell? So I messaged her and I was like, what in the holy F is this, dude? You said you had other plans and now you're in Mexico. And she's like, oh, those other plans fell through. And this guy, invited us. So you got a house. And I'm like, yeah, some rich old pervy guy invites you to a house. You can't invite me too. Like I put out, you know what I mean?
Sick invite, bro.
Yeah, dude, sick invite. So it was, I was devastated, to be honest with you.
That is a punch in the dong.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it was a circumstance. It wasn't necessarily a burn, per se, on purpose, for sure. But yeah, I get it. If I was, and this is the thing. If you're a hot chick, then creepy old guys who have houses and boats will invite you to things all the time. It's a life hack. And you get these free things. Of course, nothing in life is free. In turn, he wants the bone. And so if you're a future hot chick out there, just know that, if any guy is being explicitly nice, offering you any types of goods or services, it's not out of the kindness of his heart.
You're being Belichicked.
Yeah, he's trying to bone. And
aren't we all though?
Well, and that's at the end of the day. I'm not mad at the guy for the opportunity, right? I'm mad at the girls for taking that opportunity, and I don't even think anyone banged this old guy, So, but at the same time, even being like a gross old rich guy, being around beautiful women is a good feeling too, which is why I'm going down there with my friends and I'm not going to bone them either. But I'll be like, hey, look at me. I'm the pretend rich, gross old guy. I got the gross and the old checked out. I just don't have the funds to back it up to where I could actually follow through with any of this, but that's all right. I'll live the life for a little bit, have a couple days, and drink some Dos Equis and eat some carnitas tacos. But I will give you this warning. This happened to me one year. And if you come down, Valdez, you have to know, you have to be careful of your salt intake. Okay. So there was a year that I went down to Circus Mexicus where my diet consisted of bacon Bloody Marys in the morning.
Holy hell.
Yeah, which I would make from scratch. So I fry up the bacon and put a couple extra strips in there. I was hooking myself up. So start off the day with bacon Bloody Mary shots, right? I'm doing shots of tequila, doing, drinking beer with like salt in it. Right. And then loading up on carnitas tacos, the kind that, the street tacos that have it spinning and then they just carve it right off.
The pastor.
Yeah, the pastor style. Yeah. It's part of it. And so those pastor tacos, delicious, right? Some of the best in the world, but super salty. So what I didn't realize is I was consuming so much salt, but I felt great. But then one day I go to, Wrecked at the Reef, right? I'm wearing shorts. I meet up with my friends. My friend Ryan goes, hey, what happened to your ankle, man? And I'm like, oh, what do you mean? I look down and it looks like I broke my ankle. My ankle is swollen to the size where my feet and my ankle look like that of Professor Clump, dude.
You have a cankle.
I had a cankle. I had rolls on my ankle. And the craziest thing was it felt fine. Right? It didn't feel sore. It didn't feel like bloated. I didn't notice it until it was pointed out. Then I looked at the other ankle and I'm like, son of a bitch, this one too. So both my feet, I basically looked like I was 400 pounds from the shin down. Damn. Yeah. And I realized at that moment I didn't pack any pants, man. I packed nothing but shorts. There was no way to avoid.
You're looking like Roger the alien from American Dad, just with your cankles and waddling around.
The worst, right? And of course, I'm down there to party. I'm single, so I'm trying to mingle. And I'm like, well, there eliminates the mingle. There's no way any mingling is going to happen in this future. So I had to cut my trip short and take the first ride back to Phoenix at the time as soon as I can. I think I left 2 days earlier and thinking, I think I'm killing myself. I think I'm dying. What the reality was, I just had way too much salt and my body stored it like a Gila monster.
Oof.
Yeah.
And I did the opposite one academy. That's how I damaged my calf muscle. I drank almost a gallon and a half of water every day because we had summer academy for the sheriff's department. I flushed out my sodium and my electrolytes.
Right.
So I got a massive cramp that tore my calf muscle.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I went the opposite, and you're over here with too much salt.
Yeah, it's a balance. So yeah, it's all about I guess everything in moderation, right? I have since learned, I've cut the bacon out of my Bloody Marys. I drink some water in between, I mean, I know I was drinking water too, but yeah. At
least switch to turkey bacon.
No. If you're going to do it right. But the end of the day, like my whole trip, every single time based off the success is based off of how bloated my ankles get at the end of the day. It's so weird. I know. So.
How grandma can I make my ankles look?
All right. We're going to keep this conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. There you could join the conversation at youtube.com/beefvegan. Wrap things up with the beef tip after music from STP. I'm Rock 102.1 KFMA. Roger Clyne's right. I am pretty good at this job. Even though he was cutting out when he was complimenting me, and I was so bummed about that because I was like, no, tell me how good I am. Tell me I'm awesome.
Very funny. It was cutting out all the stuff like, you need more practice so you can get good at this.
Nah. No. See, in fact, I could do overdubs too. So on the parts where his mouth is moving, but there's no audio, we're like, Beef, you're a lover amongst men. I guess I am, Roger Clyne. Thank you for noticing.
Lover amongst men.
Some men aren't good lovers. You have a good bloody? Oh, you love a good bloody. Yes, I love a good bloody too. And I think that's the only way to kick off. The hardest thing to really get prepared for when you do this 4-day bender is to have that same energy as day one that you have on day 3. And I can
do that.
I know you can. And somehow I don't understand how you can. You have the energy of 10 men, and it is impressive to say the very least. But
because I absorb the souls of my enemies once they're vanquished.
Okay. Well, you show me your ways. I'd like to vanquish souls just so I have the energy to go out and party until the sun comes up.
And not die.
3 days in a row. Yeah, and not die. Gotta watch that. Let's see. There's so much salt in tomato products, and then with bacon, it's like a cardiac killer. I know. I was killing, and I was early. I was in my early 30s when that happened.
Oh, that's impressive.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
We're like, you look like an 80-year-old man right now. That's how hard you party. Damn. And I was, and it was crazy too. I remember that trip in detail. I don't know how many Circus Mexicus I'd done. It's been a bunch, but that one in particular, I got C-blocked by my friend Michelle, brutally, by this girl, because I was talking to this girl, Jackie, who's gorgeous. I'm still friends with her to this day, but it was a long time coming.
Dude, I hate C-blocking.
I know.
That happened to one of my promo assistants yesterday, and I was angry for him.
I know. Never C-block. It's a dastardly villainous move. And yes, I won't forget my trinket this time. I did forget my trinket last time. What I didn't tell Roger is that those potholes, as you recall, I got a blowout. I fucked my car up driving to Mexico last time. It was in October, and they had massive potholes in there, and I'm going like 80 miles an hour, and I hit one, instant blowout, completely destroy my rim, and that I'm still driving on right now, by the way, because it was welded by Mexicans back in place. And the whole trip definitely it dampened the trip because I went with Rico, my daughter, and her boyfriend, and I'm literally like, I'm going to show you guys the best time ever. This is how you do it. Boom! Oh no! You guys stay on the side of the road for a couple hours. But we made it. We made it through, and with our health, and everyone was fine, which is good. And it could have been a lot worse.
Even after rolling over an ATV.
Yeah, well, then Rico then rolled over an ATV. It was an interesting trip, but at the same time, yeah, we all got back home in one piece, and I recently paid off that trip. So, because it cost me a lot more money than I originally budgeted, because the first few $100s right at the border, and then everything else that was involved.
Is that Chef Gary?
Yeah, Chef Gary. You changed up the name.
Yeah. Enough with all the videos, bro.
What? Are you talking about the reels that you get sent?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like them. I say keep them coming. Damn, there's so few commercials here, and I squeezed some songs out. Let's see. That I got to squeeze in another one. Here we go. Emptiness Machine. I'm like, I got so much time. All right. What is Jen promo texting me? Oh, that's Joel. That's not Jen. So, Mick Foley has his one-man show up in Phoenix coming up here, right? So Joel, the promoter of the last Mick Foley show that was down here.
No way.
And
are you going to interview him?
Yes.
Ah!
Yeah. So we'll talk with Mick here soon. He's got a show on Saturday, May 21st for the Phoenix Center of the Arts, so I got to get that set up. All right. Yeah, so Mick Foley, hardcore icon. All right.
I like how unimpressed you are, and I'm just like...
I talked to him before.
Yeah, but still, it's exciting.
No, I know. I'm excited every time. In fact, actually, I'm excited to talk to him because he almost died on April 1st. He got in a horrific car accident. His car rolled over and it looked crazy.
Holy hell.
And I thought at first it was April Fool's Day prank, but of course that's not his style. Yeah. And no, it was April 1st, and he got in a car accident while he was driving to his gigs because he drives himself. Legendarily frugal. And yeah, he did it. But he survived, of course. He's Mick Foley, so it takes more than just a car crash. That's his intro music too.
Yeah,
to take him out. So, all right. Earlier this morning, go ahead.
I've met him once. He's super awesome.
Yeah, he is. All right, as we get ready for a beef tip, earlier this morning we talked with Justin Spears about the prank that happened on Deion Sanders' son. And that was kind of cruel. In case you missed it, one little something like this. Check it out. FMA, joining me in studio, he is co-host of Spears and Ali on ESPN 1490. We got the one, the only Justin Spears. Good morning, Justin Spears.
Good morning, gents.
All right, there's a lot of things that are happening in the world of sports. Obviously, the NFL draft just happened over the weekend. But one story in particular I want to talk to you about is Shedeur Sanders. Yes, who is Deion Sanders' son, right? And was a star player on Deion Sanders' team, Colorado. But with that, he was initially projected to be one of the top picks and then just completely fell off the board. Now, during the NFL draft, as his name continued to go lower and lower in the picks, there was an instant, because of course he has all the media surrounding him. He's got all his family surrounding him. There was an instant that he gets a phone call, allegedly from the New Orleans Saints, who informed them that they were planning on picking him, and then said, well, actually, you're going to have to wait a bit longer. And it hung up on him. That turned out to be a prank by college kids. Okay. Yeah. Now, with that, there's a lot of information that has come out from this. But before we get into that, what do you think was the reason that Shedeur, who initially went in as like a top 10 prospect, right?
Yeah.
Dropped completely out of the first few rounds and wasn't even considered by a lot of these NFL teams?
Because the Sanders family was moving like Eli Manning back in the day.
Okay.
You know, when Eli Manning was the top pick coming out, right? They told the Chargers, don't take me. I don't want to go to San Diego. I want to go to New York. And so, Deion and the Sanders camp were very vocal about where they wanted Shedeur to go to. There's a tweet from back in the day of Deion saying, like, man, I feel bad for any young quarterback who would go to Cleveland. Yeah. I like what Cleveland is doing, but if I'm a young quarterback, there's no way in hell I'm going to Cleveland. Well, now your son's going to Cleveland, man.
Right.
So I think Shedeur is a talented player. I really do. Is he worthy of getting his jersey number retired at Colorado? No. Which
a lot of nepotism going on.
Absolutely insane. But I think that Shedeur it's such a sad situation because I do think he is entitled, and I do think he's been acting this way for a long time. But with that being said, he is a better quarterback than Tyler Shuck, who went to the New Orleans Saints. He's a better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel, who was drafted by the Cleveland Browns before him. They took 2 quarterbacks in this draft. Dylan Gabriel was one of them. So I think 2 things can be true. I think Shador's arrogant entitlement has kind of caught up to him.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, he's a better quarterback than some of these other guys in this draft. So something definitely fishy was going on. And if you look at the reaction from the Cleveland Browns camp, like the head coach Kevin Stefanski and the general manager, when they took Shador and it showed them clapping, they didn't look very happy.
Right.
It was a very golf clap, right? Usually these franchises, they're excited about taking these players. With Shador, it almost felt like the owner stepped in and said, hey, take this guy.
Wow. Yeah. So because they know that there's a headache involved. Also, I heard rumblings that, there is a theory that Deion Sanders wants to coach Shador in the NFL. And so every team that potentially were thinking about getting him and picking him would put their job at risk if you were a coach saying I was going to get this, because then primetime's going to come in and, lobby his ass off to take my job. And so they're in the Sanders legendary swagger, behavior, attitude, and personalities literally wiped his value off of the draft board completely from the whole NFL, which is mind-blowing to see. So, when a prank happens, normally to a person of this stature and reputation, that's punching upward. I should be reveling in this, loving the fact that this prank happened. But at the same time, I do feel bad for Shador that he had that kind of embarrassment with all those eyes on him. I mean, what's the overall opinion on his prank?
Everyone feels bad for Shador.
Yeah.
In that regard, because listen, I'm all about pranks and having fun and all that. But when you're talking about the most important day of your life, you're getting drafted to the NFL and someone decides to call you and do this prank, it's completely out of pocket. And he got that phone specifically for the NFL draft. A lot of these guys get the phones just so they can have NFL contacts and personnel in there.
Yeah, so no, your Aunt Linda's not calling, you're not getting booty called during the time. That's the bat phone.
That is NFL phones.
Yes.
And come to find out, the kid who pranked him is a student at Ole Miss, and his father is the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes. Yes.
What?
That's how he got the phone number. Yes.
Oh.
Which initially you're like, oh, well, that dude's fired. Now, luckily, the coach is not fired in question at this point in time.
No, and honestly, he shouldn't get fired. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons should be like, hey, man, make sure your son's not getting your phone. I don't think he's going to get fired, nor should he get fired because his son is acting like a dumbass.
Isn't it ironic, though, that it's the Atlanta Falcons, which was Deion Sanders' former team, that leaked the information?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, man.
That unique connection. I mean, I don't think there's anything to do with Deion's time in Atlanta. I just think it was a kid who saw an opportunity to do something. And honestly, his buddies filmed him.
Yep.
If they just did the prank and just left it at that, that'd have been fine. But
no one would have known.
There was a video out there.
Yep.
And you could.
What do I look like, Justin Spears?
All right, this guy is bagging on me, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Beef Vegan Presents. Getting bagged on by Valdez about my hockey knowledge. Ask me any question about hockey. I'll give you an answer that could be accurate. That's what I thought.
What's
I
a hat
stumped him.
trick?
That's 3 goals by one player, son. That's the easiest one. You kidding me? Half the hats that I own are from people throwing it on the ice, being like, thank you, I'll take that. I'll take that. That's a fun fact that not everyone knows. When you throw your hat on the ice during a hat trick, then the ice crew then goes through all those hats and says, okay, which one looks good?
I will never throw my hat.
Why not?
I love my hats.
Well, I love your hat,
Especially
too.
my Roadrunner hats.
That's what
By
I'm
the way,
saying.
Marisa, you still have my hat. Please drop that off.
All right. Well, yeah, she is watching the stream. All right, we're almost out of here. I had a fantastic show. Of course, I'd like to thank Roger Clyne for joining us. And again, get that information on how to travel to Mexico safely at circusmexicus.net. There they have a great little Q&A of what you got to do. And like Roger said, it was no hassle at all. It was business as usual. And if anything, he felt like it was easier and they were friendlier because they're more welcoming, because that port, Lukeville, going to Rocky Point, is so dependent on the tourism business of people traveling. The citizens of Rocky Point, same way. You know, their entire economy is really based off of us going down there and enjoying ourselves. And when you are down there, you know, don't haggle too hard. Have a lot of fun, be respectful, and, you know, enjoy. And, you know, it's good for the people and it's good for you to have a good time there, because that ocean, honestly, I've been to the Pacific Ocean, I've been to the Atlantic Ocean. That Gulf right there, that peninsula, is my favorite water that I've been to in North America. Now, you can say Bahamas and all that stuff is good, but it's warm, it's smooth, it's nice. It's a good little ocean. All right, with that said, let's get into a beef tip here. All right, so this is a fun little fact. I think a lot of us all suffer from this, where we have a bunch of crap in our refrigerator and we're just trying to shove more stuff into it. So I have the best ways to save room in your refrigerator. Do you have a bunch of stuff in your refrigerator?
Bro, no.
You just broke, you just eat it all?
Yeah.
All right, well, this is for other people who don't need everything. So first, use square rectangular storage containers, because you're wasting space if you use anything circular. Yeah, see? Okay. Right out the bat, that's a fun fact. Stack everything you can. Using all the vertical space in your fridge is key. Because honestly, if you look at my fridge, you're like, this is an empty fridge, but I don't see any room in it whatsoever. That's because, you know, you got to take food out of its packaging. Boxes are bulky and unnecessary, right? And skip organizers like baskets. All they do is take up extra space, and take advantage of the walls to make suction cup caddies that are awesome. And this also helps you, you know, basically not have to use that shelf up with all the old condiments that you don't use anymore. Then you're like, oh, actually, I do want ranch today. Oh, this expired 3 years ago. So, and don't forget to throw out stuff about once every quarter, right? Go through, just throw out all the stuff you've been accumulating. So there's best ways to save room in your fridge. It's been a full show, a variety of topics.
We've learned a lot today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for listening. Be back tomorrow morning. Robin Nash is up next. Drive safe, ride safe. Rock local. Later.
Wish upon a side of beef. Soon will come.
You guys came for the fridge content. You stayed for Roger Clyne. I appreciate it.
Been mean or kind of bad, I will knock out all your teeth.
Babuski. Drop it on him, Valdez.